Okay guys, so this is the video for assessment practice number 3, and as you can tell looking at this, I have included not only circle graphs or pie charts, but also box and whisker plots. And then there's even some stuff having to do with decimals. So decimals and percentages, which we've been talking about the past couple days. So please pause the video, go through, complete this. Also, friendly reminder, you need to put this and the graph of the week in your workbook. So cut them out. This one you can just fold in half, glue them in just on the next 2 pages. So after your box and whisker plot page, go flip a page and do the assessment practice and the graph of the week in there. And then spend about 15 minutes working on this. Then use this video to grade it and make sure you got them right or figure out why you got something wrong. All right, so we're going to start going through these questions. Question A, students were asked whether they spend too much or too little time watching TV. The circle graph shows the responses of 120 students. How many students thought they watched too little television? Okay, so here's the problem. We don't actually know, based on the graph, how many students watched too little television, but we know total was 120. And we know the students that said too little television was 30%. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to find 30% of 120. Now, the easiest way to do this is to write 30% as a decimal, so 0.3 times 120, and you can put that into your calculator. 0.3 times 120, I believe, is 36. So 36 students is D. The other thing you could have done is you could have taken the number of students, so you could have looked at 84 students, divided it by 120, 24 students, divided it by 120, 6 students, divided it by 120, and figured out which one had 30% as its decimal. So you were looking for a 0.3. Question B. The circle graph shows the music preferences of a random sample of radio users. What percent of people surveyed preferred jazz or rock? So all you got to do for this one is look at the graph and say, okay, jazz and rock. Jazz was 15%, rock was 35%. I need to add them together. Okay, you can do that in a calculator. I got 50. Okay, I was thinking of going through. You'd do 5 plus 5 is 10, carry the 1, and then you would add down to get 50. Regardless, you can see that 50% is A. The other way you could do it is look at that graph and say, oh, well, rock and jack are and jazz are half of that circle, or that pie graph, so I would assume that it's 50%. All right, write 6% as a decimal. So 6% is a decimal. To go from a percentage to a decimal, it's kind of like scientific notation. You take the decimal point and you move it 2 spots to the left. So it's going to be 0.06, which is A again. Sorry, Jerry's shaking out. Everyone in Stuart's class has to do a science project. Out of the 40 students, 60% have completed their projects. How many students have completed their projects? So again, you are going to figure out 60% as a decimal. So 0.6, because if you move the decimal point 2 spots to the left, it's 0.6. Okay, so 0.6 times 40 students is going to tell me 60% of 40 students. So that is going to be 24 students, or D as the answer. All right, 4 more. Hot dogs eaten by contestants. So this is a box and whisker plot. It says, according to the box and whisker plot, what was the maximum number of hot dogs eaten in the hot dog eating contest? So this is the box and whisker plot. The maximum is the dot or the line that is all the way on the right, and then you just have to find the number that corresponds with. So it looks like I have 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and the maximum is 18. So D. Wonder if all the answers are going to be A and D. We'll see. I don't know. Pumpkin weights. Same thing. According to the box and whisker plot, what was the median weight of a pumpkin at the annual pumpkin festival? So the median is going to be the line that is in the middle of the box. That's the median. Again, if you want to use your reference sheet in your workbook, then that's totally fine. And you have to pay attention to scale on this one, okay? So this is 50. This is 25. Okay, and it looks like I'm going by fives. Okay, so it's like 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. Okay, so you got to figure out that scale. So it's 5 units past 25, which is going to be 30 right here. So A, oh my gosh, I think they are all going to be A and D. Calculate 50% of 31. So 50% means it's half. So you can actually just do it from there, okay? Half of 31. Well, it's not 0.81. It's not 1.55. It's not 155. So it has to be 15.5. Okay, the other way you can do that is to do 0.5 times 31. And if you put that in your calculator, you would get 15.5. So D, there you go. They're all A and D, I guess. And then write 2/5 as a percent. A couple ways you can do this. You can either write 2/5 as equivalent fractions. So 2/5 is like 20 over 50 or 40 over 100. Okay, so you could do that. Or you can put in your calculator 2 divided by 5. And in your calculator, it's as a decimal, you would get 0.4, which is 40%. Oh, so there we go. We got one that is C. Okay, so we're going to continue to practice on questions like these, but the answers on this one was D-A-A-D, D-A-D-C. So hopefully you guys got all of those right or got some of them right, and if not, we will continue to practice over the next couple weeks. So again, attach this in your notebook, and yeah, go to the next thing on your checklist. Thanks.